This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1, and I'm basically going to report on the reaction to my live stream that I attempted to do on Friday. Now, due to technical difficulties, I did not get any audio into the stream, so after just doing a chat only for an hour, I took the chat down and discontinued the live stream. But remarkably, someone who constantly monitors my stream apparently archived it, and this article showed up on BitChute and stating that I was an FBI agent and that I have been in constant contact with Neely Blanchard's former attorney, Mr. Maro. Now, I'm going to state unequivocally here and now, I have never had any contact with anyone having to do with the defense of Neely Blanchard. I have never spoken to Mr. Maro. Maro has never spoken to me. When I went to the FBI in Minneapolis, while I was filming Operation Chaos, it had nothing to do with Neely Blanchard, and it didn't have anything to do with Mr. Hallett. This had to do solely with the fraud that was going on perpetrated by the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, which is a farce, and Mr. Holmseth. I voiced to them my concerns about these people running around taking donations from people, claiming that they're one man from Donald Trump, that Mr. Holmseth declares himself to be some kind of a special correspondent, and having solutions to dozens of cases, which he is no such thing. It was a 4-hour interview. They took notes. They said thank you, and that was the end of my association with the FBI. Now, Mr. Holmseth, strangely enough, claims as well to be a witness for the FBI, for he went to the FBI with some cockamamie theory back in the disappearance of Hallie Cummings, and that didn't come to anything. So now we come to the present day where Mr. Holmseth declares that I am an FBI agent. He's done this for quite some time, and as a joke, I wear novelty shirts on my show from time to time, with FBI, maybe CIA. I even have a U.S. Marshal one. I've got dozens of these shirts, which you can buy either on Amazon or on eBay. I am not, and never have been, an agent for any law enforcement agency in the United States or anywhere else for that matter. But for some strange reason, Mr. Holmseth and his crazy Canadian friend want to declare this. And this crazy Canadian also declares that I am Whity James Bulger, a dead gangster from New England. They seem to think that the federal government spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to create William K. Murtaugh as a false identity for this Whity Bulger character, and that they murdered an innocent man, in prison, which did not happen either. Now, this is the funny thing. There's been a person called Task Force that has come in and disrupted my live streams from the beginning. During the live streams, I have tried to get this person blocked. I have told this person they're not welcome in the chat, and they should go and donate all the money they want to Mr. Holmseth, since he seems to be on her radar and she has this loving relationship with him. And lo and behold, over on the high command, they called this woman a fraud and says she's actually part of an FBI plot against Donald Trump and against Tim Homseth. Now, high command, or task force, whatever you want to call yourself, this is the thanks that you get for coming in and disrupting my chat. IBT says you're a fraud. The PPTF says you're a fraud. The BitChute page run by the crazy Canadian calls you a fraud. So you're making yourself into a fool. You're being used as a joke. You are being used to say that there is a plot against Trump and a plot against Timmy, and you are part of it. How are them apples? You go around bragging that Timmy's on a beach and that you're traveling around, that you can't stay in your home because everything that's happened and all this. And the very man that you are out there defending each and every time I go on the air, calling out my show, calling me filthy Mert, and all this, and Timothy Charles Homseth himself calls you a fraud. It's right there on his blog. The article that calls you a fraud was written by Timothy Homseth. That's his modern name. So, deny it all you want, Task Force, but you've been called out. All the stuff you're doing for Tim Homseth is for nothing. You are an April Fool's joke before April Fool's. You are the April Fool. You're an April Fool, but you're also an April Fool. So be proud of yourself, because you have single-handedly made yourself out to be one big, fat joke. And your efforts, along with Tim Holmes' efforts, is likely going to get Neely Blanchard executed when she is adjudicated guilty of first-degree murder. The attorney for Neely Blanchard was going to make sure that she did not get the death penalty, and there was a chance that she could have beat the charge. This attorney's an expert at that sort of thing. But thanks to the manipulation of Neely Blanchard, and thanks to the crazy Canadian, Mr. Maro is no longer on the case. He found out, funnily enough, that he was fired on the internet. And how about them apples? And I guarantee you, because that article appeared in the Ocala Star Banner, and all these attorneys out there who do defense work are going to see it. I am going to be curious to see when April 15th comes around, how Neely Blanchard is going to defend herself in court. Is she going to get an attorney that is willing to be in the middle of all this nonsense being perpetrated by this phony PPTF, or is she going to wind up defending herself as her own attorney with the so-called experts from Canada and everywhere else to be her advisors? This is turning into one hell of an interesting trial coming up. So I hope y'all stay tuned, because I'm going to be there to watch this circuit play out. Who knows? I may even be called as a witness, because they are determined to get my name on the record in that case, which is fine. You put me under oath in Ocala, and all hell's going to break loose. I am going to give some information out to the public in court under oath that has not been told. So stay tuned for that one. This is William K. Murtaugh with this one. Stay tuned, because there is more to come. I am back and ready to rumble.